We need a strong Republican Party, not just in the state of Texas, but all across the United States of America. But the Republican Party of Texas will be the beacon. We will be the light. We will be that shining city that sits on a hill that illuminates the way for the rest of this great nation. All of the eyes of this nation are on Texas and what we do in standing against the totalitarianism and the tyranny that we see from the progressive socialist left. When you talk about being made for a time such as this is our time in Texas. This is our time as Republicans. This is our time as conservatives to show the way for the future and the legacy of our children and grandchildren. You got to be ready to step up for the fight. And the fact that you're here this morning, that lets me know that you are. See, one of the things that Republicans haven't paid a lot of good attention to are local level elections. Coming up in May. Because as we see this influx of people coming in from California, Illinois, New York, and New Jersey, guess what they do lots of times when they come in? They run for city council, they run for school board, the most important elected position in the country is school board. The election that has the least amount of voter participation is also school board. And they run for county clerk and they run for county commission. So hats off for you all to being here today, because we have got to get involved. As Tip O'Neill once said, all politics are local. And this is where it starts. This is where we grow up the next generation of Brian Slaters. This is where we grow up the next generation of Bob Halls at the local level. But you got to get engaged. If you look at historically, the turnout rate for local level elections, if you get 8%, you're doing good. That's appalling. The mayor of Dallas won his election with about 9% turnout in the city of Dallas. So that's got to stop. It's got to change. Because if we don't show up in our local level elections, and understand something, you know, those folks, they're coming and moving out across Lake Ray Hubbard, and they're going to show up out here. Just talk to the people over in South Lake. If you haven't been paying attention, Carroll ISD, the Cultural Competency Action Plan, where they're now trying to inculcate and indoctrinate values and principles. Look over at Grapevine, Texas. In Grapevine, Texas, at the high school there, they have a Marxist club in Grapevine High School. Okay, this is what is happening in the state of Texas. You think about Austin, Texas, where their independent school district voted 9-0 for a sex education curriculum that is basically pornography taught to 3rd through 8th graders. But, oh, by the way, the Texas State Board of Education, when that exact same curriculum came up to them, it failed, but the vote was 9-6. 6 people on the Texas State Board of Education thought teaching our kids sex education, pornography with pictures, 3rd through 8th graders, was okay. This is why we got to get involved locally. See, I know so many people are upset about, and I'm going to finish up here in about 5-10 minutes, and then I want to hear what's on your mind, your questions. I know so many people are looking back at the November 2020 election, and everyone's talking about machines and, you know, types of paper and everything. You know what really happened in November 2020? Republican state legislatures got pumped. That's it. In Georgia, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Arizona. Because Republican state legislatures, instead of understanding that the most powerful branch of the 3 branches of government is the legislative branch, they are the ones that have the most enumerated powers and duties and responsibilities, they allowed courts, they allowed secretaries of state, they allowed governors to come in and change election law almost up to the day of the election itself. And they did nothing. That's why we've got to support great state legislators like you have here with you, that are standing with you, that are hearing your thoughts and your concerns.